Hi, and welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. My name is Mark McNulty, and I'm president of Action Coach Bluegrass. And today I have with me as my guest, Alane Paulley, who is COO of MagnaWave and also the owner of VyFy Wellness Club, which we're going to learn a lot more about today. Now, today we're going to be talking with Alane about her journey to business ownership, the challenges, best practices, and share a peek into the life of what it really means to own and run, in this case, multiple businesses. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to subscribe so that you get notifications with all of our future interviews. So, Alane, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much, Mark. This is great. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your businesses and kind of how this all came about.
Yeah, so I manufacture medical equipment, specifically pulsed electromagnetic frequency medical equipment, or PEMF, under MagnaWave and Well. MagnaWave is mostly focused towards animals like racehorses, livestock. Well is marketed FDA cleared for human use. And we're in physical therapist office, chiropractors, and you can use these devices at home. They are over the counter. So those were the beginnings. And then over time, I realized that I really wanted to bring something to the community of Louisville, Indiana, Kentuckiana, for better description, and really bring a lot of the wellness and new devices that I had heard about and found out about through my journey through this medical device realm into one building, so that the people of our community could really benefit from all of these things working together. And it's kind of become a passion project for me to really help the community.
Okay, awesome. So now MagnaWave is a family business, right?
Correct. My dad started MagnaWave in 2006. My mom and my dad, they worked together. They traveled the country for about 5 years in an RV. I used to be a television producer for Wave 3, the NBC affiliate here. I was there for about 6 years. And my dad and mom came home and his business was growing. He was a distributor of the PMF devices. And my dad said, we need some help. And I said, I'll work with you. And so we joined together and started in a little basement off Frankfurt Avenue. And over the last 10 years have really, really grown. We have about 75 employees at MagnaWave right now. We just moved into a 32,000 square foot facility off Plantside, and we are just really growing, and taking this from being a distributor to a manufacturer has been a really big journey.
Right. So tell us a little bit about your venture into VyFy.
Okay, so I really wanted a place where people could come in and try the equipment. Most people don't know what PMF is. And then when you try to market, come in, try our pulse electromagnetic field equipment, they're like, what? I don't know what that is. So I really found, as I was, going around, and I have outfitted celebrities' homes, major NFL, NBA studios, and put in all of this equipment all over the United States. And along that journey, I met major cryotherapy companies and float tanks and other wellness devices that were really interesting and worked really well and were beneficial with what I do. And so I thought, it'd be great if there was a place that just anybody could walk into and try these really cool high-tech things safely, easily, conveniently. Because most of the time, to get access to these things, you'd have to go to a doctor's office, a major sports facility, and we've really put it all in one spot. So it's really been wonderful. We started it'll be 3 years in August, and it's been fantastic. I mean, we're growing. I'm actually looking at expanding over into Southern Indiana in the next year or so. So opening a second location. VyFy stands for Vitality for You. I wanted something unique and different, easy to trademark, instead of doing something that everybody has, like restore, recover, rebuild. I wanted something different. And so VyFy really has become like a labor of love. We do IVs, nutrient boost injections, hyperbaric chambers, float tanks, sauna, plunge pool, hydrofacials. If you can think of it, we do it.
Awesome. So who's your target market for that? What's that audience?
Well, a lot of people think that it's sports, and it definitely is. We get a lot of sports people who are looking, like it could be the weekend warrior, it could be anyone like that. But really, it has slowly but surely become just the everyday person, like the couple that is, anywhere from 25 to 65, who are in pain. They're struggling with arthritis, or let's say autoimmune diseases, or indigestion, or pain, just, back pain, shoulder pain, anything that you can experience. You're looking for something to relieve that. You don't want to take pills. You don't want to have surgery. There's not a lot of other options out there. Your doctor is giving you limited support other than you need this surgery or this injection, and you are looking for another option, you come in. And what we find is that a lot of people come together, best friends, couples, stuff like that. And they do the sauna together. They can, cryo together. They can relax and do the PMF together. So it's really becomes like this thing where they bond, and you really get, better skin, just a whole better lease on life. And it's quick. It's 30 minutes. We take walk-ins. We're open 6 days a week. We're only closed on Sundays. So you can walk in, we're right in Middletown. So I really am looking to get just the everyday person. But yeah, we do get a lot of athletes, a lot of even younger athletes, high school sports, people who are really looking to go to college or in college. So that's been what's really been successful for us.
Okay. So obviously this is a big word of mouth business, clearly. What other kinds of marketing do you do for VyFy?
A lot of what I've found successful has been working with influencers or people that have a following on the internet, obviously. Doing trade with them because it's, rather inexpensive, and they are really, like to do it. Obviously, they want to come in and they want to use the modalities and share them. I also have a marketing with the soccer teams. So Lou City and Racing Louisville, that was really good for brand awareness for me because nobody knows what we are. So I teamed up with them. All the soccer players started coming in when I first opened. I was like, this is a good idea. Maybe I should start talking to the soccer team. So what's been really great for everybody that goes to those games, you probably heard of the VyFy quarter kick or those type of things, which help people think, oh, you talk about 7 touches in marketing. Well, that's just one of them. That the ROI is really hard to track, but I found so many people who've come and said, I heard about you at the soccer game. So that's always been a really great way to get, everybody who is either into sports or even just everyday people who love to watch.
Right. So when it comes to your competitors,
yeah.
Are you more competing with the pain management people or the med spas or a little bit of both? Because you kind of cross into both territories. So just what are your thoughts on that?
A little bit of both. The med spa arena also does a lot of the toxins and a lot of pain management people. We're still focusing on pills. There are some other facilities that do float and red light, but what's really unique about us is that we have what's called core vitality therapy. So it's vibroacoustic therapy. So a bed or a chair that you lay in that vibrates your entire body. You have binaural beats, which is music that matches that vibration. That's alpha, beta, theta, delta to your brain waves. So helps with relaxation, helps with even pain relief, depression, anxiety. Then we use the PEMF that I have, and that goes all the way through the body during that process with a big red light bed on top. And so you're getting all of these 3 modalities at once, saves time. And we have about 10 areas of the facility where we could do that. And people come in for the cryotherapy, they come in for the sauna, they stay for the core vitality therapy. And it's something that's very unique that nobody else has. We do have some esthetician services too, like microblading, dermabrasion, the facials. And that's been really great because what I try to do is combine therapies all at the same time. So instead of just coming in and plunging or doing red light, you actually get to do you could have a hydrofacial and get an IV. As a woman who runs 3 businesses, has 3 children, I realized that time is extremely important. There's 2 really important things, and it's health and your time. Mm-hmm. And so if you are healthy and you are able to utilize your time, that's paramount to me. So I really think the difference between us and everything else is that I'm not going to make you sit in a waiting room for hours. You're coming in, and I am truly, the team there is focused on making sure that you are getting the most tailored for what you need, type of program as quickly and easily on your time as possible.
Right. Okay. Excellent. That's great. So, you just mentioned you wear a lot of hats. Yeah. And so what are your roles? One thing is titles. The other thing is, what do you really do? So kind of what are your roles and how do you split them between the companies?
Well, I'm a leader who believes that you can only lead as well as you have, people underneath you. So I hire everyone who's smarter than me. Okay, Mark. So the idea is that every single person that I've placed director-wise in the roles that they're in is far more intelligent on their role than I am. And I hire slow. I want to find the best person for those roles. I have an excellent director at VyFy. I have an excellent set of directors at Aura, excellent set of directors at MagnaWave. So I really make it so that we set goals, they're clear goals, and then Mostly what I'm doing is supporting. So I'm checking in, where are you at those goals? How can I help you? And then, giving them the resources that they need and allowing them to lead. I'm not a big micromanager. It allows me to have the freedom to enjoy the business and look at the larger scope of things. I feel like in leadership, a lot of times people get lost in the mind. You find yourself doing, and I'm guilty of this at times, where I find myself doing things I shouldn't be doing where there's people who can. And the more that I have like allowed the leaders to lead, the more I've been able to grow and be successful.
Okay, excellent. When you think about VyFy in particular, the journey from start to 3 years later is full of probably lots of interesting moments, right?
Yeah.
So what's a memorable roadblock or hurdle that you had to overcome as you started VyFy and started growing it? What's something that really sticks out that others could learn from?
Ooh. Well, I had never opened like a store, like a front facing. I was a television producer, and then I was a manufacturer. And now here I am, like a front facing business owner. This type was completely new to me. The biggest hurdle that I had was training the staff. Like, I understand everything. I think what was really hard was finding people who had the passion that I have, training them to communicate it. And that's so important in this role, especially. But I think that goes across anyone who has a front facing type of storefront. Like, when you're there, let's say you have like a dress shop, when you're there and you are so passionate, you're working with the customers, that's great. But when you're not there, like, how are they greeting people? How are they able to express that passion? And do they do those same things? And how do you make it so that you can large scale train people? I
Mhm.
actually put in like a training system online to like just do our core values and everything in the beginning. And then a 1 month, like, training and helping. And it became very systematic because I think it was just a hurdle for me. It's frustrating. It's like, oh gosh, I thought I explained that right. Or I thought how do we get this into, and so I would say about 18 months in, I had to like sit back, reevaluate the staff that I had, reevaluate how I was doing everything, and kind of shake it all up. I actually closed for a few days and I said, all right, I am starting over. Like, not starting over public facing, but starting over for me. Like, I needed the mental, like, it wasn't because it wasn't working, but because it wasn't working as well as I needed it to scale. And for me to open a second, I would love to franchise one day. So I reevaluated the team. I changed a whole bunch of stuff. I looked at how I was training, and then I did a huge, like, 3 or 4 day training session with the staff, and we went back at it. We changed our mentality and a reset, and it really did change the business completely.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your team at VyFy.
So I have an excellent director, Reese. He's amazing. He's been in the service. He was in, I believe, the Marines for years, but he's also extremely health driven, does personal training. He's an excellent leader, and he is the mentor, larger than life guy who is director. And, I give him goals, and he works so well with that team to work with them. I also have a fantastic assistant director that's been with me almost the entire time, Corey. He is like the biohacking guru, like, amazing at looking and finding the newest and greatest things. And he's so passionate about helping the team and the customers. And then I have 2 or 3. Allison Lynn Huff is our nurse. Allison Goss, she's been with me since the very beginning, since like I started MagnaWave with my dad. She has been with me. And whenever I opened VyFy, she was the first person I reached out to. Her passion for wellness and health is like unmarked. Everyone has their niche of like wellness that they are into. So we have, nutrition, we have personal training options. And what I like about that is Abby, our personal trainer, she does private training. So it's more than personal. It's like, if you're that new mom or who just had a baby, and you really, if you're so nervous, get back in the gym and get back out there, and she does such a great job for even somebody that's, maybe a senior who's never really worked out. She's just amazing. And so everybody has their little niche, and they work together so well. And we've all been together now for months and years, even, that it's really become almost like a family, or, like, we all just believe in it. And this team has all expressed to me to help me open the second location. So we're just all really excited about the mission.
Awesome. So second location. So what's your goals 3 to 5 years? I heard you mention, Southern Indiana, maybe franchising. So what's the big vision?
The big vision is to establish proof of concept one more time. I've done a lot of market research in the area, and I think Southern Indiana is where I would like to be. I'm looking at buildings, and I really want to clean it up this summer and get my training to a point where it is like repeatable, and open that second location, show that it is also going to be profitable very quickly. And then I would like to franchise in the next 3 to 5 years. I already have extreme interest. I have a list of about 15 people who have already expressed that they would like to franchise. I have a doctor in New York who's probably first on the list, but I really want to have it a place where I know it's going to be successful. I like to do things fast, but I don't wing it, if that makes sense. So I really want to make sure that when I franchise this, it is going to be easily executable. The marketing plan is there, the support is there, and the success is inevitable. So that's where I'm at, moving forward the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay. So you talked a little bit about your leadership style before. You're not a micromanager. So how would your team at VyFy, how would they describe your leadership and management style?
Well, that's a really good question, Mark. I would say they would probably say what you said. I'm not a micromanager. I lead with passion, and I really am a big believer in energy, and I think I try when I'm in there and I'm working with them, I try to, even if I'm having a bad day, I think that's the hardest part of leadership is taking a step back from yourself. And even if, let's say you're struggling at home, right? You're having a rough time at the other business, but you're about to walk into VyFy. I take a deep breath, and I literally have this moment in my head where this is going to sound crazy to people, but I take the problems that I'm dealing with and I put them in the passenger seat, and I'll take a minute, I'll take a deep breath, and I'll pick those back up when I get out. And when I get out of that car and I'm in there, all I'm thinking about is how wonderful it is to be there and how wonderful these people are. So that energy, I think, breeds with everyone else. So I think that they would say that I do not micromanage. I come with energy, and I try to make it a good place to work. I've had some horrible bosses. And I remember when I knew that my mom and dad and I knew we had to hire our first employee. And we were like, I'd never done this before. And I remember sitting up at night, and I said, I just don't want it to be a bad place to work. Like, I want whatever place that is working with me, that they love their job and that we see the humanity in them. And so last year we were voted one of the best places to work in Kentucky. We're doing it again this year. So I just want to have a great place where you come into work, you feel seen, and you enjoy your job.
Okay, awesome. Well, this has been great. You've really had a lot of success, and congratulations on the best places to work. I was reading about that on the website. That's awesome. So last few questions here. These are kind of quick, first answer is probably the right one. So what has been your key to success?
Patience and undying belief.
Okay.
I don't look back. I learned from my failures. I don't let them at all hold me back. Like, if I have a really bad day and I know that something failed, I fail all the time. I screw things up. Things don't work. Other people do. I just say, okay, what do we learn from it? Let's go. Like, you just have to know that you're going to be where you want to be if you just keep at it.
Awesome. So what's one piece of advice you would have for other business owners?
Learn to trust the people. Like, you should never hire people if you don't trust them. And because a lot of times, I think what was really hard for me over the last few years, and then I see it at other places, is realizing that a leader may do something different than the way you would have done it. But if the goal is the same, then it doesn't matter. So as long as they're within your core values, they may do it different. I mean, I've seen people do things I'm like, what is he doing? Or what is she doing? I never would do it this way. But then the success that they have at the other side at hitting the goal that I want, it takes everything to be like, wait, what are you doing? Why are you doing it this way? I want to blah, 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 blah. So it's like stepping back and realizing that success and the road can be, gotten to where you want to be a lot of different ways, and letting go of the fact that you have to know and control every single piece of it is extremely difficult, but it is worth it. It's the only way to scale.
Great. Awesome. So what's a book you're reading or listening to, right? A lot of people don't read anymore.
I love to read. This is it. I'm actually listening to this on my Audible because I do a lot of listening, but I'm reading this right now. It's Get Scalable by Ryan Deiss. If you're like a smaller business owner, I'm also at the same time listening to 10X is easier than 2X. But I like this book a lot. I like Ryan, and it's really about the operating system. Like, how are you able to look at your business from a glance and see how things are going and working directly with your team? I actually had all of my leaders read that this year. So I don't know. I don't know if have you heard about this one?
I haven't read it yet. I'm just finishing up 10X
Love that one. I'm
and
kind of in
another
the
great
middle of
book.
both. I keep going back and rereading chapters in this book, but yeah, I love to read. And I listen to Audible because, I have 3 kids. I drive around a lot in the afternoons. So like with the children and going to sporting events and things like that. So I listen to these books so that I can have time to, really get them in, because holding a book and reading when you have 3 children and it's not safe. It's not safe to drive and read. So.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So if you could improve one area of the business tomorrow, what would it be?
Probably sales. I'm developing sales and how we greet people at VyFy, how we not just greet people, like how we communicate what our packages are. I feel like that's the hardest thing. We're very passionate. We know what's good, but like for me to market and sell that, like, this is what you can get for this, is very difficult when people don't know what the modalities are that we're working with. So I feel like if there was a perfect world, like a lightning bolt, I would know what that messaging is and be able to I feel like that sentence is going to come in my head, or it's going to, the team and I are going to figure it out, but we're just not quite there yet. Like how to say, look at how great this is without overwhelming people with, oh my gosh, what is hyperbaric? What is cryo? What is flotate? What is red light sauna? I really want to get the regular people, everyday people. You don't have to be an athlete. You have anybody, everybody's mom, their dad, their grandma. If you are in pain or struggling with losing weight, I just want those people to feel like they can walk in and not be intimidated. And that's why I created VyFy. So how do I get that messaging across so it's a little marketing sales explanation problem.
All right. So before I ask you my very last question of the day, so how do we find out more about VyFy website, where you're located? How do people find you?
Okay, so we're in Middletown behind Mark's Feed Store, right there at Old Shelbyville Road and Waterston Trail. It is VyFy, VyFyKY.com. So VyFy Kentucky, VyFyKY.com. It's 106 Waterston Trail. Again, walk-ins welcome, or you could just go on VyFyKY.com and schedule a consultation. It's 100% free to come in the first time. We are going to talk to you. We're going to get to know you, and then we're going to run you through several modalities at no cost to you. So that is 100% what I recommend people doing. Either walk in whenever you can, or go to the website and schedule that consultation and see why it's a great place. You have nothing to lose.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. So last question for you. So what inspires you the most right now?
What inspires me the most is when I talk to people whose lives have changed. I would say it's almost like an addiction. Like when somebody calls you and they're like, or I run into them at VyFy and they say, you don't understand. I had a woman yesterday. I saw her in the parking lot. She was like, you don't understand how this has changed my husband and I's life. Like we are so much better. I mean, I could get teary-eyed even thinking about it. So like, that's it every day.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Alane. This has been Alane Paulley. She is COO of MagnaWave and the owner of the VyFy Wellness Club that you just have to check out. It's free consultation, so you need to jump on that and take advantage. VyFy, VyFyKY.com. Alane, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today and your story and teaching us a little bit about what we can do for our own health, as well as some lessons around business leadership, building teams, and scaling. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Mark. It was great speaking with you.
Yeah. So this has been the Business Spotlight series. Make sure to subscribe so you get notices when we drop all our next interviews. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next interview. Bye.